welcome to the Arsenal show. We've got a full panel tonight. Well, not a full panel, but we've got some solid Arsenal fans in here tonight. A lot of knowledge. The three's wise men, they would say. And we've got these on because there's a growing unrest at Arsenal. Not through us, because I think we're more level-headed. However, the young uns and some of the others, the olders, we won't speak about them, they're not happy. We're 2 games in and there's pitchforks and lanterns everywhere. There's even talk of this man potentially coming to Arsenal. Now, I myself am a realist. But there's a lot of people out there that feel that Antonio Conte could and potentially will come to Arsenal. But we need to seriously think about what it would take for Antonio to come to Arsenal, and what he would need for him to be in a position that wouldn't tarnish his name. We're also going to talk about Arsenal's signings before the end of the season that it's crucial they get in before transfer deadline day next week, and some of the players that just don't seem to want to go. The deadwood, you may call them. Players that you just can't get off the books. We need to think about them. Who needs to go? Why won't they go? And can Arsenal get them out before the 31st of August? Of course, we're joined by the transfer guru himself. It's Steve K. How you doing, Steve?
How you doing, Kieron? Pleasure to be here tonight.
And we're joined by a die-hard Arsenal fan. We've had him on before. It's Raj. How you doing, Raj?
Hi, good evening, Kieron. How are you doing today? You okay?
I'm good. How have you found the start of the Premier League so far? It's painful. Besides painful,
just a general input. I think the first 2 games have absolutely been shocking.
Yeah,
there's a thing from like watching the Brentford game and the Chelsea game where there doesn't seem to be like enough team spirit. There doesn't seem to be any fight in the team. It just seems like the players have already given up before the fight started. 2 games in, it just doesn't look like there's anything in the team at the moment to get us going. Do
you think a victory against West Brom tomorrow night could potentially bring back a good vibe around the dressing room?
Heading into the West Brom game tomorrow, like I say, I watch all levels of football. They've started the season well under Valérien Ismaël, and they've scored 11 goals. They've only let in 5 with a +6 goal difference, and they've got some good players, especially Daniel Furlong, who's got a great long throw and a good weapon, and Carl and Erling Grant, and obviously Carl and Robinson up front as well, and obviously Matt Phillips. So they're going to come and they're going to give it a go. They've got no to lose. For Arsenal, they're going to have to be on their guard tomorrow because West Brom at the Hawthorns are going to come to play. And Arsenal need a morale victory. They need to stay in the Carabao Cup. It's as simple as that. They cannot get knocked out tomorrow because if they do, it's like Troops was saying on Arsenal Fan TV, it could only be in 2 competitions come August. And obviously one is the Premier League and the other one is the FA Cup. And that would be a disastrous situation for Arsenal Football Club. So if we can win tomorrow, I'd basically play Aubameyang tomorrow, give him a game and hope that we can get the victory. So it's going to be a bit of a nerve-wracking game, but I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
So you think Arsenal should put out the strongest team tomorrow, then?
Not maybe the strongest, but the strongest possible. I think Auba needs some minutes tomorrow. So hopefully he can even play about 60, 65 minutes. But we need to play a strongest possible team because we need a morale-boosting victory, like you just said. We need to get a win from somewhere to get our confidence going and to get our season started, whether it means in the Carabao Cup. But yes, and the Carabao Cup, to me as an Arsenal fan, is important this season that we try and get as far as we can. And possibly, like Steve said, we can win it when we did our prediction shows 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So, Steve, as we know already, it seems a bit early with the mounting pressure that's growing on Mikel Arteta. People are already picking and choosing what games Arsenal are going to win, which it seems a bit ludicrous. But how long can Mikel Arteta withstand this pressure without it really getting top of him and people asking serious questions?
Well, first, I think the criticism of Mikel Arteta is unfair. They weren't saying it 8 games at the end of last season when we was winning games, playing well, and doing everything right, and everybody was waxing lyrical about Arteta. We've came into the start of this season. We've gone to Brentford, which is not going to be easy. You know, it's a packed house. It's the first time they're back in the Premiership after 74 years. It's going to be a tough game.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to be a very tough game. Arsenal had a lot of problems that was happening that week with injuries, with COVID. I know we can't harp on it too much, but the facts that they was there, and then the game against Chelsea, I didn't expect nothing else than what we got. I felt I felt that we was better than we were against Brentford. I thought there was a few decent performances, but I pretty much Chelsea could win the title this year. So I never to lose 2-0, I don't think it's any disgrace. But going back to Arteta, I mean, I think that you're looking at, this is not me, but I think that, you know, you're looking at round about till Christmas, and then I think they'll pull the plug. If we start losing games against the lower teams. But personally, you know me, Kieron, I've said it many times. This squad is not a good squad. It's a very average squad. It's a squad that can beat by any Premiership team on its day. But to answer your question, I'm probably till about Christmas, and then Kroenke will probably pull the plug, and then another manager will come in, and then a year later he'll do the same thing again, unless he gives us some money, and I'm talking about some decent money, you know, to fix the squad. Because this 135 million hasn't fixed the squad. People are getting this, oh, look, we're top of the charts. We've won.
Yeah.
You know, we've spent all this money.
Yeah.
You know, why Man United have only spent 100 million? Well, the reason why Man United have only spent 100 million is because they only need to spend 100 million. Because their club's been run well. Man City have only spent what they need because they don't need to spend it anymore. Arsenal now, someone's woke up and gone, oh, we better start spending some money.
Yeah.
And, you know, then
while they're 10 steps back.
Exactly. While if someone's woke up, you know, because they didn't finish in Europe.
Go on. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, and you know, and there's an argument to say whether the players that have been bought have been the right players in the right areas. Yeah,
we'll get on to that in a sec. But you brought up the point, which is why I've focused around this pod tonight. A lot of talk around the 135 million that Arsenal had spent so far, and people saying that Arteta needs to deliver because of that. I agree to a certain extent. If you're going to spend that sort of money, you have to see progression in the team in some sort of way. But what people are also saying is there's a lot of talk about what Conte would do with 135 billions with this squad. As we know, Conte went into Chelsea, done things there, won the league, won the FA Cup. He also went into Inter Milan and done the same thing there. Cleaned up, done an amazing job at both squads. But I also believe that those two squads were in a completely different place when he took them over as to what Arsenal were at. Raj, do you think one, Antonio Conte would come to Arsenal, and two, do you think he would make much difference on the same budget that Mikel Arteta have?
The first question is obviously if Arsenal went in for him and he was available, I think that he would come to Arsenal. But it would depend on the reassurances of what kind of budget he was going to get, because he's one of those kind of managers, as you can see at Inter Milan recently. He's left them because obviously they've lost certain crucial players due to their financial status. And I think if he did come to Arsenal, I think he would be well better equipped than Mikel Arteta, taking no disrespect from Mikel Arteta. I love the guy. he's a bit of a legend for me as a player in my own terminology because of what he achieved for us in the FA Cups, what he's won. And I think if Antonio did come to Arsenal, I think he would probably have signed better caliber of players with that budget that Mikel Arteta spent on the 135 million. I think Antonio Conte would probably have got more established players with a bit more experience, which is what we're lacking in certain areas.
What do you think he would have brought in with regards to bringing in players and spending that budget? Is there any players out there that you think potentially could have brought in, or even similar type of player that he could have brought in?
He probably could have gone to Inter Milan and maybe looked at De Vrij. I think was it De Vrij or was that Inter Milan or some of the couple of them players at Inter Milan that they've got like Barella, players like that. He knows the Italian leagues. He'd have gone for some good experience top type of centre backs. I mean, I don't know much about his recent era at Inter, I know a bit about what he had team wise, but he would have gone for more grit and determination and them kind of players where he likes to play that system 5-3-2, and I think he would have done that. He'll do the same at Arsenal if he does come in, where we'll look more compact, more solid, and then we'll look to play on the break. Like I say, I don't know much what he did at Inter. I know bits and bats, but like the way Chelsea played, he'd want to probably establish that with the 5-3-2. But I would think, players wise, he would bring a lot more. Maybe Lautaro Martinez would have been one of them, because another thing that I want to touch on is like you say, I think we're lacking we'll come to that anyway when we talk about transfers. But yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, no. A couple of things you said there, like the likes of Barella and Martinez.
Yeah.
Okay, like as a club, we are a massive club. Like Arsenal is an establishment. Like they are one of the biggest clubs on the planet, name-wise. But when you break it down, Arsenal have been in the Champions League for 4 years now, 3 or 4 years now.
I think it might be the 6th year, isn't it? 5-6 years.
It's 5-6 years. So subconsciously, my brain is erasing extra years because it hurts too much to even think about not being in Champions League, and that right there is an alarm bell for anyone who is an established, on the brink of being a world-class player. We're talking about the Barellas. We're talking about the Martinez. Why, if you're Martinez and you're Barella, why would you come to Arsenal?
Because it's a big club. It's got history. It's won trophies in the past. It's London. Arsenal Football Club have always won silverware no matter what. I know we haven't won the league for a long time, but if you look at our record, we have won a few FA Cups in the last few years. So we are capable of winning trophies. But I understand, like you say, no Champions League football. That would be...
But everything you said there, it had a tint of we were, we did, we had, it's not we are. There's nothing we are. We are champions. We are FA Cup winners. We are Europa League or Champions League finalists. We're none of them. So I don't believe that any of them players would come. Like, there's a reason why we spent 50 million on Ben White and not 32 million on Varane, because we didn't have a choice. Like, because we didn't have it weren't an option. It weren't an option. Varane is not coming to Arsenal anytime soon. It's too much of a risk. Ben White going from Brighton to Arsenal, no risk for him whatsoever. He can up his money, and he's going to a club who's a big name, and if it doesn't work out, it's a stepping stone, which is embarrassing. It's a massive shame that we could even be talking about Ben White using Arsenal as a stepping stone. That is shocking, but it's true. That could happen if Arsenal in the next 3 or 4 years do not do anything. Saka's gone, Ben White's gone, Smith Rowe's gone, and we are languishing. That's the scary thing. This is why I believe 135 million has been invested this season. Yeah. This is why I believe there's been a few more risks with regards to let's get the players in now and then let's look to sell the other players. Steve, Antonio Conte. Yeah, as you've seen on Twitter, you're on Twitter a lot. There's a lot of talk about get him in, sack Arteta, get Conte in. How does that work for you? Whether that's sacking the likes of Arteta, whether that's will Conte come, whether that's would he do a job on this budget? Would he even take the job on this budget? How much would he need? What would he need? What would he be asking for? A lot of questions in there.
It was, wasn't it?
I hope you had your pen and paper out, mate.
Yeah. Rewind. Well, look, just let's take Conte for a start. I mean, look, he's saying all the right things that would tell you that there is a big chance that he could become an Arsenal manager. He said that he wants to manage a top four side, but which is worrying, which totally wipes everything out that
It's
we're
not us
talking
right
about
now.
tonight.
Uh-huh.
But one thing he has also said is that he wants a project and that he can take on as long as he has the tools to improve the club. Now, even with those words there, straight away you worry because you think there's no way Arsenal are going to let him give over the reins. And Conte left Inter Milan because they didn't do what he said.
And he threw his toys out the pram when Chelsea didn't do what he said, and eventually left.
Exactly. He was at Chelsea, Abramovich, as big as he is. He didn't like what he was doing. I'm off then, pal.
Yeah.
Same with Inter Milan. You sell my players, I'm off.
And Arsenal don't exactly have a record of not selling their best players, do they? So
exactly. But if he was given that reins, which he's not, is he? He's not going to give him. He's just not going to be given that full reign of power. I don't think so anyway. But he does want a project, and that he can take on. And he said that he likes to improve clubs. And what he's done with Chelsea and what he's done with Inter Milan and other clubs that he's been to, they're clubs that haven't been that good when he's gone there. And so you feel that the rumours with Conte saying, that he may come to Arsenal, there could be a good chance, but he wants control. It's like it's his way or the highway. And he's the boss on the pitch, and he wants to be the boss off the pitch. He wants to be control of everything. Will Arsenal give him that control? I don't think so. I don't think so. I can't see Stan Kroenke working with Antonio Conte as much as if Arteta left, he would be my first choice to definitely come to the club. Look, it wasn't so long ago. We're talking weeks ago now. That he was having talks with Spurs, and the reason why those talks broke down was because he didn't have assurances from Daniel Levy, because obviously he's not going to have control over Daniel Levy. Daniel Levy said you can't have control of everything. Yeah. So he said, "Fair enough, on your bike, I'm gone," and he walked out, and they broke down. So it's going to be very difficult to see him coming to Arsenal. But as I said, it's exciting from an Arsenal fan's point of view, everything else, because he wants a project. He wants a side. He wants to make a side better. He wants a side that's probably hasn't got a chance of winning the league at the moment and make him better. But I still think he wants a Champions League side, and he wants to build a side. He wants to build a side that's not there yet. And again, that typifies where Arsenal are at the moment. But one thing that would be paramount is that if he builds that side, he will not want it to be broken up, like at Inter, because again he's off. Also, because he is a 3-year manager, he doesn't stay around long. You'd have, as soon as Conte would come into the club, you would have to be thinking about
the next manager
afterwards. And and there's always that worry that if he doesn't like what's going on at Arsenal at the time during his tenure there,
you're going to tip the boat.
Walk out.
Yeah.
So do you play safe with Arteta, and and just let him play along and see where he takes us, and give him a couple of more seasons, or do you go with Conte and have that risk? It's that's the question.
Raj,
Yep.
How long do you give Arteta? I've got no problem with Arteta. I actually like the guy. I think a lot of the talk about his arrogance is just, I don't know. I think it's because people a bit, I don't know, because they're not getting the answers out of him that they want to hear. So they just pull on the arrogance. But how long do you think? How long would you give Arteta?
I personally think from a neutral point of view, like you said, the manager has always been made the scapegoat. But when you look at it, for me, the biggest problem of this whole situation for a long time is Stan Kroenke. He's the reason
100%.
why we're in this situation. With regards to that, that's the first point I want to bring. He's the one who has destroyed Arsenal Football Club. It's sad to say, but that's the honest truth. Now, with regards to Mikel, I think the next 5 games will be pivotal for him, including the Spurs derby coming up. Let's see what we can accumulate points-wise by then, but we would need to beat Spurs. But as long as we've got Norwich, and I think Brighton's in that running as well. I'd say the next 5 games will be pivotal to his destiny, 5 to 6 games, and see what happens, because the board might panic and then pull the plug. But that's what I personally think, the next 5 games, including cup competitions, etc.
Yeah, I can't
Up to the Spurs game.
I think the Spurs game would be massive. I think last year he was very lucky with regards to the Spurs game. We lost that one in a game which we could have been a bit smarter for himself, and maybe just taken the draw. But I think if that one comes around again, I think they will be taking the draw, because
it's like Raj says, and he's got 5 games, which is more than possible. They've spoke to Conte now.
Yeah, they would have done.
Already had talks, and he's already coming in. He's already got his chair in the manager's office.
If it's 5 games that we're talking about, if it is the 5 games, no, you're right. If you're giving a manager 5 games, it's because you're waiting for him to fail, not because you're hoping that there's you probably is hope that he can pull it out the bag, but you're already thinking that it's not going to happen if you're giving him 5 games, 100%. But as you said there, this isn't new. This decline of the football club came from when Stan Kroenke came in. Now, at first, it probably wasn't noticeable too much. The fact that we had debts with the stadium, having to pay that back, which covered the fact that there was no investment. But then the investment didn't come in after that. One season, I think we bought 10 players off I don't know how much we spent, but we bought like 10 players. Mertesacker was in that, Andre Silva, Santos. There was so many bang average players involved in this. Not Mertesacker not being one of them. He was good. He was class. But yeah, the team has not ever been invested in properly. It's not. There's been no real investment. People want to talk about 135 million this year. Over 5 years, Arsenal spent a net spend of like 49 million each year over the last 5 years. And for a team that's trying to claw back into the top 4, that's never going to be good enough. Like, the investment in this team has been absolutely shocking. But let's get on to the signings that they've made so far this season. Of that 135 mil. Ben White from Brighton for 50 mil. Nuno Tavares from Benfica, undisclosed fee. I think that's in the region of about 8 mil. Albert Sambi Lokonga from Anderlecht for 15 mil. Martin Odegaard, who came in the other day for around 35 million euros. And Aaron Ramsdale from Sheffield United for a fee in the region of 24 mil, raising to 30. Now, they seemed like quite run-of-the-mill down-the-line signings to me. There's nothing that stand out. The most exciting for me is one of the players that was here last season. He's Martin Odegaard, because I know what he can do, and I want to know how important his role in the team could be. I'm very impressed by the likes of Sambi Lokonga, but that's a £15 million player. Steve, do you think Arsenal has spent right with that 135 million? What would you have bought with that 135?
There's certainly areas where they have spent right. We needed a left back. Kieron he's out every other week. He's out again at the moment. So a left back was paramount. So we had to get Tavares in, and what I see of him is, he's decent. Ramsdale baffles me a little bit, not due to the fact that he ain't a good goalkeeper and we don't need him. Personally, I would have bought a goalkeeper a lot less than that and used the money for something else, and then bought Ramsdale in maybe in a year's or 2 years' time. I don't think he was, something that was needed now.
I don't see Ramsdale's valuation shooting up after a good season in the championships.
Exactly. So they could have used that. They could have gone. I mean, look, what did we pay for Matt Ryan? 6 million, was it? 5 million? Oh no, it was a loan, wasn't it?
It was a loan spell until the end of the season.
I mean, you could get a loan keeper.
We could have got Areola from West Ham in the end. I really rate him.
Could have gone Sam Johnston, even.
Sam Johnston from West Brom.
I'm not saying we wasted the money on Ramsdale because he may be very well worth that. But to Arsenal Football Club at this moment in time, I don't think he was someone that's needed. I think we could have looked. If we sat down, thought a bit more, we'd have come up with a bit better option. Just like we just sit there, get another loan keeper in on the marks of Matt Ryan, or paid one for like 3-4 million, got one in there.
Well, we don't want to bring up the fact that we sold one of our best keepers last season for 20 million and got to buy a player a year later for 10 million more. Absolute, and that's this is what we talk about when we say the reign of Stan Kroenke. You want to talk about the manager. You want to talk about Edu, yeah? Who's the man that's employing these people that you are complaining about? Who's the man that's allowing these things to happen? Who's the man who's not investing when he should be investing? Who's willing to sell a goalkeeper who could have stayed and been competition, and Leno could have been competition, but no, you thought about money and thought that you want to sell, you want to make money here. It's a good opportunity to make money.
See, that's the only worry if I've got to worry at all about it, it's the way this money's been spent. 50 million on Ben White, England international, top player, great. But did we need him now? Second best defence last season. Did we need him? Halfway through the season or in January, we may work out in hindsight that we did need him. But if you go back to last season, we didn't need him, and you would have thought that money would be put somewhere else further forward. Because that
creativity. We don't get enough chances.
Exactly. We need it further forward. Lokonga, we brought him in 15 million. Good player.
I think that'll be a bargain.
Good prospect. But look, you always say it, Kieron. Prospect. It's your words I'm using. He's just a prospect at the minute. We don't know what he's going to do. Other clubs would go and bought. We was after Bundia. Never happened. A few other players never happened. But the only one really is Erdegard, who I'm probably satisfied of. It looks to me if I didn't know Arsenal, if this was a Manchester City, if this was a Manchester United, and they had spent that money on those players, I'd be 100% sure that they were going to go and spend another 135 million
on the first team players. Yeah.
But I'm thinking, you're not, are you?
Yeah.
You're going to have a Aubameyang up front, Lacazette's up front again. You're not going to have that extra creativity player. You're not going to have that extra midfield player. So, has the money been spent right? It's the only question of Arteta I have, because if that is all we're going to get, if that's all that comes in, that's I think he should answer to that.
Yeah, Raj. So you've seen the signings there. What's your feeling on them? 135 billion well spent. Would you spend it in different areas?
Okay, so I'm going to address what Steve just elaborated on with his opinion on these signings. So I'll start off with the goalkeeper. I'll just give a quick 30 seconds on Aaron Ramsdale. Now, Aaron Ramsdale, to me, I really rate him. I think he's going to be a very good goalkeeper, and you're going to see in the next year or so how good he's going to be. He's got Player of the Season twice at 2 relegation clubs in Sheffield United and Bournemouth, and I've seen a lot of his action, and I think that he's well equipped to be a future Arsenal number 1. And I think Bert Leno needs that competition because he is slack at times, and he does kind of take his eye off the ball. So I think for me, £24 million with 6 million add-ons and instalments, I think we needed to address the goalkeeper situation. So I'm happy with Aaron Ramsdale. Second one, Nuno Tavares. Was it about 8 million they paid for him? Was that right? I love the fact that I've seen him in pre-season in the Rangers game. He's up and down. He's full of energy. He can cross a ball. He can defend. He's strong. That's a decent signing, for cover for Kieron Tierney, and he can also play left wing. Yeah. Lukonga is age 21. He's come from Anderlecht. He's got a vast majority of games under his belt. He's a young prospect, like you said. He's one for the future, and from what I've seen of him so far, he's gonna get better for me. Fourth one, Martin Erdegard. With Smith Rowe being given the number 10 shirt, did we really need Martin Erdegard coming back? Possibly not, but when he was at Arsenal, I did love him, and I'm going to back him, and now we've got him on a permanent transfer. I'm happy with Erdegard. It's probably not everyone's cup of tea, but I think he'll do okay with us.
Wait, why do you think the narrative around Odegaard changed? Because when he first came in, there was a lot of excitement. I personally thought that he was... I really enjoyed him. I thought he was good without being spectacular, considering he came in from January, and I thought he was like... He's not like quite a number 10. He's like a very attacking number 8 for me.
Yeah, he's like a deep number 8, like Aaron Ramsey.
Yeah.
Like you say, that's why he's been given the 8 shirt. So maybe we'll see him playing in a deeper role at times.
So why do you think the opinion may have changed in him?
I think because of our league position last season and the way we finished. We did finish quite strong towards the end of the season. I think fans have kind of got a bit disillusioned, and the fact he only scored like 2 goals during his spell. Was it 2 goals? I think.
Yeah, 2 assists.
And 2 assists. And I think that might be one of the reasons. But you looked at he was at successful. Was it at Sociedad? I think he was on loan. He had a great spell there, and that's what made him pivotal. And then he went back to Real, and then obviously, he's now here. I don't know. I think the fans have just got a bit negative with that one. The last one, Ben White. We had Gabriel and Holding as our centre back too, and it's like Steve said, we were in the top 3 for one of the best defences in the league last season. Did we really need Ben White? Possibly not, but now he's here. The first Brentford game, he's got made a scapegoat, and everyone's thinking, nothing's improved in our defence. I think with Ben White, I work in Leeds, and I speak to a lot of Leeds fans when he was in the Championship with them. I know Championship's a different division of the Premier League, but he was outstanding. He was outstanding at Leeds, and I think with Ben White, I think him and Gabriel will be my first 2 to play together as a partnership, and I think that could be a blossom partnership. But with Ben White, it's going to take time, but I think time will tell. I do rate him, but let's see what happens.
Do you think Ben White needs to pay in a free to be a successful Arsenal player, or do you think he can adapt in a 2?
I can think he can adapt in either one. And as for the last bit that you wanted to ask me, which areas would have improved it on, or which areas do I think that we need to improve on? I think we need another striker. This is sorry, but I honestly believe we need another striker. I think our strikers are just lacking the killer instinct. And I had one dream. I said Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but that ain't going to happen in the next 10 days. But I think we just need another attacker.
I mean, Kieron Tierney would be happy with the amount of crosses we try and put in there. We've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin because, I mean...
He'd gobble them up.
He would gobble them up. He would gobble them up. Steve, I know you're of the similar mindset that Arsenal's strike power is not all that it's cracked up to be, even though people from the outside may feel that, yes, we've got Aubameyang, yes, we've got Lacazette, but sometimes Lacazette can be very toothless when it comes to his finishing in important games. Would you have brought a striker in?
Oh, 100%. It would have been first on my list, and that's why I've sort of made that point of, we've paid so much, we've spent so much money at the moment in other area, in a defensive area, but nothing like, okay, we've got Odegaard, but we still haven't got nothing as far as sticking the ball in the back of the net.
Steve, can I ask you one question? Who would you have liked to bring in if you was the Arsenal manager as a striker, please?
Well, you got to be realistic. I can't. You can't be anything but realistic. So you got to think someone of around 30, 40 million. I like Andre Silva. I can't see for 25 million now we didn't get Danny Ings.
Oh yeah.
True.
Well, we spoke about it before. We spoke about it previously, didn't we? About a Danny Ings potentially 1 year left in his contract.
Like, whether like I know you was talking about like because we're a big name or a big club. I'm sorry, in my day-to-day work, right? They don't want to come to Arsenal. I'm sorry, they don't. Players do not want to come to Arsenal. I speak to sources and players and people involved in the game day after day after day after day. Arsenal are not looked at that main club where players want to go. Danny Ings 25 million, it still baffles me, and it's still. And then I see that goal that he scored the weekend and over.
Yeah, that overhead kick. What a finish!
And I'm thinking,
what a finish!
Why am I off my head here that can't see what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
Lacazette's not done it. Lacazette done it for one season.
Yeah.
And ever since then, he's not done it.
Yeah.
For Leon, he was smashing it. 30, 35 goals a season. Brilliant. For Arsenal, he's packed up. And to be quite honest with you, I'm quite annoyed by the way his attitude has been, over the last 2 years, because he doesn't, to me, he just doesn't look bothered. But
yeah,
it's
one of them.
I would bring, just to answer Raj's question, I would take a risk, and I would bring in Raul Jimenez.
Oh my God!
Well,
I love Raul Jimenez.
That's it. That's what they need.
Yeah.
I'd even have a cheeky bid for Mikel Antonio. I'd go for it.
It's just not bad. It's not bad, Steve. Steve, it ain't bad. It ain't bad. Steve, it ain't bad. I ain't knocking that. Because the thing is, you buy Mikel Antonio, you have him for 2 seasons, he bags some goals, and then you can sell him on. And he won't mind that because he would come to Arsenal because it is that club. But the Raul Jimenez, Raul Jimenez, I would swap Raul Jimenez for Lacazette today. Today. It's not even a question. Raul Jimenez was regarded as one of the top strikers in the Premier League 2 seasons ago before his injury. Yeah. Lacazette, I've watched him week in, week out. Yes, he works hard. Yes, he drops in. Yes, he holds up the ball. Yes, he looks cute sometimes. I can't. The rest. Nah. I can't keep watching this guy and then thinking, do you know what? Nah, he's an honest player. Nah, 1 season he could do it. Because because if it was anyone else, he's getting absolutely berated. He's getting chased out of the stadium because it's not good enough. Because even in his best season, he scored 14 goals and got like 14 assists. Now, the 14 assists is ridiculous for a striker, but he's got 14 goals. Like, no. That's a good season. That's a 30+ goal contribution. Very good. But you've not done that since. And every season,
like Ivan Toney. I know I'm going down a bit now.
But that's a risk. Mikel Antonio, for me, that's not a risk. It's a different kind of player, and it's a player who probably wouldn't be playing week in, week out. But he would get you goals. And when you did bring him in, he would get you goals. And that he would give you an honest performance as well. Because that's what Lacazette does. Because when Lacazette's not on form, he will drop in. He will hold up the ball. He will scurry about and try and win the ball off players. But you know that he won't try and get in the box. He won't try and get on the ball. And he won't finish it when he does get in front of it. Because he lacks confidence. And when he lacks confidence, I feel he's useless. And that's the reason why I think that Mikel Arteta dropped him after the first couple of games because, yes, he scored goals. Yes, he scored a goal against Liverpool. Yes, he scored. But the goal against Liverpool was like a deflected tapping off his foot. The rest of the game, he didn't do anything. And it happened in a couple of games as well. He didn't do anything in the game. He got a goal, and it was a case of, if you don't score in this next game, I'm going to have to drop you because you haven't done anything worthwhile for the team. So he got dropped, and he didn't like it. And he lost his confidence. But I understand why he got dropped, because he wasn't bringing anything else to the team. Like, okay, you can say he scored a goal, but Nah, come on, man. You could have stuck anyone else up there to score the goals.
Yeah, I mean, it is about goals, isn't it? We need to score goals. I mean, as much as what Emile Smith Rowe, as good as he is, he doesn't score goals.
No.
He needs to score some goals. He needs to come away with at least 10 a season. He has to sort out that part of his game, because we haven't got no one in that midfield who seems to be, putting the ball in the net. So we need someone. I mean, I don't think he'd come, and Arsenal fans are watching now. They're probably going to throw rotten tomatoes at him. But I'd take Jesse Lingard.
Oh, but do you know what? Do you know what? There's a lot of talk. There's a lot of talk.
He scores goals.
No, there's a lot of talk last season when there was potentially Jesse Lingard. Arsenal were going to put in a bid for Jesse Lingard. There was a lot of talk that we don't want him. Same with Jorginho. We don't want him. He's rubbish. So Mikel Alonso. He's rubbish. He's no good. You take all of them players now, though, wouldn't you?
All day long.
Jesse Lingard, Mikel Alonso, and Jorginho. Like you take them all day long. Take them all day long. So I wouldn't listen too much to the Twitter crew. They make a lot of noise, but they have no substance. So just ignore it. Next up, before we go, Deadwood. Who goes? Who needs to go? They've managed to get Joe Willock off the books. I like Joe Willock, but I just don't think Arsenal was the club for him, because I think he needs a club that he's going to play it week in, week out, and Arsenal couldn't offer him that. So good luck to Joe Willock. 25 million to Newcastle. Matteo Guendouzi on a loan with an obligation to buy. He will be gone at the end of the season. Good luck to him. Not a fan. Poor attitude. Not the greatest of players. Does a lot of running, but I couldn't. For all the running you do in the world, mate, you can't have an attitude like you did and be at the Arsenal Football Club. But there's a lot more that were potentially going to go that aren't going now, and some that we've heard that could be going that it's gone a bit quiet on. Steve, we've seen that Hector Bellerin and Granit Xhaka have signed extensions on their contracts. Probably to benefit Arsenal, to make sure that if they do sell in the future, that they do get decent money for them too, which they should. But there's loads more. There's Said Kolasinac, which looks like he's on his way to Fenerbahce with his contract being terminated. Willian, more recently, looks like he could be on his way to Corinthians on a free transfer, which is good because that just hasn't worked. But there's the likes of Reece Nelson, who's a young player who needs some game time, who needs to probably go, whether that's on loan or on a permanent. Eddie Nketiah, with the likes of Balogun, who's just signed a new 5 or 6 year deal. He's the long-term future at Arsenal. Is it time for Eddie Nketiah to leave? Does Callum Chambers look elsewhere? There's so many on the books at Arsenal where if you do get rid of 4 or 5 of these players, just wages-wise, you could bring in another player off the back of that. Steve, who do you think needs to go, and do you think they can get these deals done before the end of the summer transfer window?
Well, it's not long left, is there? I mean, I started writing these players out, and I got a new pen, and I ran out of ink. But yeah, look, you just mentioned Bellerin and Xhaka there. Sign new contracts, as you said. It doesn't mean they're staying. That just means that they be able to get more money from when someone else comes in for them. Especially, I would have thought Bellerin, because I just think he's I don't know what's happened to him. When a couple of years ago, I loved him, and I don't know, he's just gone backwards. And I still think he could go this window, possibly, maybe in January. As far as everyone else. Probably everyone else.
Just everyone else.
Definitely Lacazette.
Yeah.
I think his time's up. I think he's got to go. Just get whatever you can for him. And get him out. And because the main problem with Lacazette is his wages.
Yeah.
He's on £180,000 a week. There's 2 players there.
Yeah.
And I think his attitude has been disgusting. And another player who you just mentioned just now, William, he's turned around and said, terminate my contract. Sweet.
Oh, yeah, sweet. So it's done. It's happening.
Yeah. But he said that they got to find him a club, and
Yeah.
I think it's Corinthians. But
Yeah.
at least he's had that. He's sat down and he's helped the club out, and he's helped everybody out by doing, accepting what the club have asked him to do.
Yeah.
Of something that Lacazette hasn't.
Yeah.
El Nini, I think we should always keep. Chambers.
Yeah, I was just about to get onto that. I was just about to say, Torreira looks like he's on his way to Fiorentina. But El Nene's one that I could understand keeping him. I could understand keeping him.
He does the job. He does the job.
Low wages.
There was a little spell of games last season. I think about 5 or 6 games. He was top draw. Top draw. I think Xhaka was out. He came in for Xhaka. He was top draw. Party was out. He came in.
Newcastle game away. He was amazing when we won 2-0.
Yeah, definitely. So you got them. So you got William. You got Lacazette. You've got Chambers, and I think Bellerin needs to go. Reece Nelson needs to go. We've given him enough chances. And Nketiah needs to go. You pretty much named them.
Yeah. Raj, who do you think would be the most important one to get out so that Arsenal could potentially move on and maybe bring in another player?
Do you know what I'd like to see? And I think this might be a little bit of a gamble, but if it does come off, I'd like to see, like Steve says, I've got 2 Lacazette shirts with his name on the back, and like you're saying, I think his attitude's poor, and I don't think he looks interested. So if on transfer deadline day, if we could sell Lacazette for a permanent deal and try and bring another striker in, it don't matter what kind of striker it is, but just to go out there and take that risk and bring something fresh in the striking department. That's what I see. That would be my opinion. I just think we just need a fresh face.
Can I ask you a question, Raj? Do you think they can't? Do you think it's Lacazette being stubborn and just saying, I'm going to see my contracts out? Or do you honestly think you just can't? There's no one who will have him?
You've got to look at his age as well now, and they said they're over age, saying over 30. He's just turned 30, and he recently, I think, in June. So maybe that's another thing, that no one wants to take a risk on them wages as well. So he might be like thinking, I'll see it out on a free transfer. But not Arsenal won't let that happen. They'll probably sell him in January if they don't sell him this window. Yeah, or unless he signs a new 12-month extension, there was rumours about
which would be horrible.
Yeah.
With this guy here, with Lacazette here, I think that would be the worst idea, because I just don't think he would go. I don't think he would leave. I think there are clubs in for him. I think there would be clubs interested, but on next to no money going out of their club. Like, they would take him on a free, knowing full well that they're willing to pay the £180, £180,000 a week. I wish it was £180.
That'd be cheap, wouldn't it?
I'd be like, don't worry, mate.
You wouldn't even
I've got
play
you
local
covered. Yeah.
But William's 200 grand. William, who's on,
and William as well. Yeah, he's got to go as well.
So, but he's I rate what he's doing. Do you know what I mean? He said, find me a club, I'll go. I'll
take my contract.
Yeah. So,
right. So that 200 grand's got to give us two top class players.
Two top class players.
It's just a matter of getting them to the club.
If there was one striker out there you could buy, realistically, remember Arsenal have been 2 seasons in a row. They're currently languishing in 19th in the league.
We're not going to say Dominic Calvert-Lewin then.
We're not going to say Dominic Calvert-Lewin, because that's going to cost us about 60, 70 million.
How much is my budget, Kieron? You tell me my budget.
Your budget is probably about 40 mil max.
40 million max. Martinez is out. That's done. Patrick Bamford wouldn't come. It'd be that Andre Silva, the Portuguese striker, the one who plays at Hoffenheim. He would be the one that I'd get, because his goal scoring record is decent, and I don't think he'd say no to a club like Arsenal. And was he at FC Porto and Milan? He
has been. He was.
Andre Silva would be my choice, because he's good in the air. He can win balls. He can hold it up, and it'd give us another dimension up front, and he can score goals. So I'd go for Andre Silva. From is it Hoffenheim? I think he plays that.
Yeah. He's at Eintracht Frankfurt, isn't he? I think you could probably. I think you can get him for around 40 million mark. I think there was talk that he's not got long on his contract, and they're open to selling.
He's the second leading goal scorer in Europe, just behind Messi.
All right. How many has he got in all comp, Steve? Any idea?
Well, mate?
How many did he get in all comps, Andre Silva?
Oh, I don't know.
Good over
All I
20
know
odd.
is, all I know is he's just behind Messi in that that list of top goal scorers in Europe, which is when you think of there's players like Haaland and Lewandowski, just to start off with, and he's above them.
Yeah, and he has bagged goals this season as well.
Kieron,
he's
can I ask the same question to you? What in that question with regards to yes?
Ooh, put me on the spot here.
You're not allowed to do that, Raj.
Yeah, Raj, you're not allowed to do that, mate. Press the remove button right now. No, mate, it's tough. It's tough. I liked the idea of getting in Tammy Abraham before he went to Roma. I think that he's got a lot of potential. I think that Chelsea fans say he's not good in the air, but I think he's waiting to be honed in as a striker. He's waiting to be for someone just to give him them last few bits of information and skills to make him into a really good player. So I like the idea of Tammy Abraham. He scored goals for Chelsea the season before. It was only when he got dropped and he didn't feel that he was the main man that he started to sort of lose his confidence a bit. And he's a very much a confidence player. His ego's massive. So yeah, I like Tammy Abraham, but I wouldn't be avert from signing Andre Silva. As you said, is someone who could get in at that price. So yeah.
Well, and Jimenez as well. Yeah, Jimenez as well.
Jimenez, yeah. I don't know how much you'd get him for now because I know they were looking for 100 mil previously. That then dropped to 70 mil. Then you got the head injury, so you may be able to get him for in and around 50 odd mil, maybe at a push 60. But I still think that's a fair price because I think he's a quality striker. Is the reason why Juventus wanted him. There's a reason why all the top clubs wanted him. So yeah. All right. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Raj. Great
Thank
having
you.
Man.
I'll hope to see you again in the future, sure, hopefully soon. And
no, we will definitely.
I'll look forward to watching your next exchange. Like your next ones that you do. And
oh no, we've got the exclusive coming up next. Don't forget, we've also got the Man United show. We've also got Man United show. We're filming it on Thursday. That should be out on Friday. Don't forget Marie's Bundesliga minutes. I'm giving you an advert right now, Raj.
Yeah, okay.
Marie's Bundesliga minutes.
Yeah.
Kieron
so meets. Bundesliga show as well, yeah?
Yeah, we've got a Bundesliga show.
I look forward to seeing that.
Don't trust me. It's out. There's one we dropped the other day. So yeah, go and give that a watch.
I'll have a look at that on your, like you said, on your feed.
Right.
But lovely speaking to you guys. Have a great evening, and thank you very much for your time today.
No, thank you very much, Raj. Thank you very much.
See you soon, boys.
Take care.
Take care, mate.
And of course, thank you to my good friend Steve K.
And there's a pleasure as always. Absolute pleasure.
Don't be too upset. There's going to be no outro on this one. But by the time we do speak again, Steve, on the Arsenal show, I guarantee there will be a brand spanking new outro.
Good. I'm looking forward to it. All
right. Sweet. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash